Imagine you're preparing for a long journey. If you're hiking through a dense forest, you'll need different tools than if you were crossing a desert. In much the same way, the tools and strategies you use as a vigilant leader must be tailored to the specific dynamics of your industry. What works for a tech startup may not work for a retail business, and what's important in healthcare may not be a priority in manufacturing. Vigilant leaders understand that industry-specific foresight is crucial. While the principles of vigilance apply across all fields, the nuances of your industry, its pace of change, key players, regulatory landscape, and customer expectations determine what signals you need to watch for and how you respond. Let's start by considering the pace of change in your industry. Some industries move at lightning speed, while others evolve more slowly. For example, the tech industry is constantly shifting, with new innovations popping up almost daily. If you're leading a tech company, your vigilance must be razor sharp, constantly scanning for the next breakthrough or disruptive technology. On the other hand, industries like agriculture or construction may experience slower shifts. That doesn't mean there's no need for vigilance, it just means the changes may come in the form of gradual technological adoption or regulatory adjustments. Leaders in these industries need to be patient, but still ready to act when those shifts occur. For example, in the auto industry, electric vehicles or EVs were once considered a niche market. But the shift to EVs is happening faster than many expected. Traditional car manufacturers that were slow to recognize this shift are now racing to catch up with companies like Tesla that sense the change early. Understanding the key players in your industry is another essential part of developing foresight. This goes beyond just knowing who your direct competitors are. You need to know who's innovating, who's expanding, and who's struggling. Sometimes the most significant threats or opportunities come not from your traditional competitors, but from unexpected entrants. Think about how Amazon disrupted industries far beyond retail. Leaders in industries like cloud computing, logistics, and even entertainment with Amazon Studios had to quickly adapt when Amazon moved into their space. If you were only focused on your traditional competitors, you might have missed the signals that a company like Amazon was preparing to dominate in these new areas. As a vigilant leader, keep a close eye on companies inside and outside your industry that could either partner with or compete against you. Regularly review competitors' strategies, acquisitions, and partnerships to anticipate how their moves might impact your business. And now let's talk about regulatory landscapes. Every industry operates within a regulatory framework, and changes in regulations can create both challenges and opportunities. Vigilant leaders keep a close watch on the regulatory environment to anticipate new rules, compliance requirements, or government policies that might affect their business. Let's take the healthcare industry as an example. Changes in healthcare policy, whether it's around patient data privacy, insurance coverage, or drug approvals, can have a profound impact on how healthcare companies operate. A vigilant leader in healthcare would be paying attention to political debates, regulatory agency announcements, and even public opinion to stay ahead of potential changes. In highly regulated industries like finance, energy, or pharmaceuticals, leaders need to build strong relationships with regulatory bodies and keep an ear to the ground for upcoming policy shifts. Sometimes the signals of regulatory change are subtle, but if you're tuned in, you can prepare and adjust before your competitors do. And perhaps the most important aspect of industry-specific foresight is understanding how customer expectations are evolving. Your customers' needs and desires are always changing, influenced by trends in technology, social movements, and even economic shifts. A vigilant leader is constantly scanning for these changes to ensure their products or services stay relevant. For example, the rise of the experience economy has dramatically changed customer expectations in industries like retail and hospitality. Customers are no longer just buying products, they're buying experiences. Companies like Apple and Starbucks have thrived by creating immersive experiences that go beyond the transaction. Leaders in these industries needed to sense this shift early to adapt their business models accordingly. Similarly, the growing demand for sustainable and ethically produced goods is reshaping industries like fashion, food, and energy. Companies that sensed this shift early, like Patagonia or Tesla, were able to position themselves as leaders in sustainability and capture a loyal customer base. Now, Every industry faces disruptions, whether they come from technology, regulatory changes, or shifts in consumer behavior. But how you respond to these disruptions depends on the specific dynamics of your industry. Let's say you're in the retail industry. The rise of e-commerce has been a major disruptor. Some traditional retailers like Sears and Toys R Us were slow to adapt and paid the price. But others, like Walmart, recognized the threat early and invested heavily in their online infrastructure. Walmart's vigilance allowed them to compete with e-commerce giants like Amazon by offering services like in-store pickup and rapid delivery, keeping them relevant in a changing market. In industries like finance, the disruption comes not just from technological changes, but also from new players, like fintech startups. Traditional banks that were slow to adopt digital banking solutions found themselves competing with nimble, tech-driven companies that could offer better, faster services to customers. Those who sensed this shift early, like JP Chase, invested heavily in digital innovation to stay ahead. Future-proofing your business is about staying vigilant to both internal and external changes within your industry. It's not enough to simply react when something happens. You need to be ahead of the curve, preparing your organization for the next wave of change. A key part of this is fostering a culture of innovation. Leaders who encourage their teams to think creatively, explore new ideas, and question the status quo are better equipped to adapt to industry changes. It's not just about waiting for the next big disruption. It's about creating the space for innovation within your organization so that you're driving the change instead of reacting to it. Look at how companies like Google foster a culture of innovation. Employees are encouraged to spend time on side projects, which has led to some of the company's biggest innovations like Gmail. Now, this kind of forward-thinking leadership helps businesses stay ahead of the industry curve. And Netflix offers a brilliant case study in industry-specific foresight. When Netflix first started as a DVD rental service, they were already scanning the horizon for changes in how people consume content. They recognized the weak signals of streaming technology early on and shifted their business model well before most of their competitors even considered it. But Netflix didn't stop there. As they saw how original content was gaining popularity, they made a massive investment in producing their own shows and movies. This move disrupted traditional media companies and cable providers, positioning Netflix not just as a content distributor, but as a creator. By constantly scanning for shifts in technology, customer behavior, and content consumption, Netflix has remained at the forefront of the entertainment industry. They didn't wait for the industry to change. They sensed where it was going and positioned themselves to lead the charge. So, vigilance isn't one size fits all. The dynamics of your industry determine what signals you need to watch for, how quickly you need to act, and what strategies will keep you ahead. By understanding the pace of change, monitoring key players, staying ahead of regulations, and anticipating shifts in customer expectations, you'll be better prepared to navigate disruptions and seize opportunities. In the next lesson, we'll dive deeper into how you can use real-world case studies to apply the principles of vigilance in your own industry. For now, think about the unique challenges and opportunities your industry presents. What trends are you noticing? How quickly is your industry changing? And how can you stay ahead? Start thinking strategically about your industry's specific dynamics, and you'll be well on your way to future-proofing your leadership.